2023 Nissan Z in-depth review. Welcome all to our amazing channel latest luxury cars, and in this video, we are going to review about the 2023 Nissan Z, so here we go. In terms of legendary Japanese sports cars, the Nissan Z series is up there with the finest. With a long history and a devoted fan following eagerly anticipating the debut of the 7th generation model. It's been 13 years since the 370Z debuted, and 59 years since the first Z car was sold. The new Nissan Z features a turbocharged 6-cylinder engine and an altogether new retro-modern appearance that is more reminiscent of the 300ZX than the 370Z and 350Z that came before it. Hiroshi Tamura, the modern father of the GTO and now Z, joins us for the Australian introduction of the new sports vehicle. Mr. Tamura began the endeavor in March 2017 with a handwritten memo to convince management that the 370Z needed to be replaced. The memo, written in Japanese, sought to explain why the 370Z was no longer selling as well as the firm had intended, as well as to outline some goals for the next generation model. According to Mr. Tamura, upgrading the Z was presumably not high on Nissan's priority list at the time, considering the company's financial troubles in 2017. The Nissan Z is a soulful sports coupe with a long history of inexpensive and fun-to-drive two-doors dating back to 1969. Using bits and pieces of history, such as the 240Z quarter-panel emblem and a set of dramatic LED taillights that imitate the look of the 1990s 300ZX, the new Z prioritizes power and driving fun. Despite sharing a 400 HP twin-turbo V6 engine with the Infiniti Q50 Red Sport, the Z is available with either a 6-speed manual or a 9-speed automatic transmission. Spy images of a rumored Z Nismo have surfaced, implying that an even more powerful version with an improvement to the car's sometimes harsh suspension is on the way. While the new Z has many of the same joints and bones as the previous generation 370Z, its interior is more luxurious, with nicer seats, a larger infotainment screen, and a telescopic steering wheel. The Z may not be as fun to drive as the Toyota Supra, but it still provides driving thrills, and we are glad to see it return to the sports car market. The ride quality was a pleasant surprise. As guest judge Chris Theodore pointed out, this comes at the sacrifice of some sharpness. The steering is not very responsive, and the brakes are adequate. The motor revs smoothly, although the gear shift is a little clumsy, and when pushed, the car bounces around a little. If that seems like mediocre praise, he adds that it is an advance over the previous generation Z. Ouch. The Z's difficulty is that it is trapped in a devil's deal. Nissan might have created a completely new automobile. But pragmatism, the belief that two-door fast cars no longer sell well and are thus difficult to justify, led to the recycling of yesterday's Z cars for this current one. Engine performance and transmission. The Z, like its more powerful sibling, the Nissan GT-R, is powered by a twin-turbocharged V6. Instead of the GT565 HPR's 3.8-liter engine, the Z receives a 400 HP 3.0-liter mill from the Infiniti Q60 Red Sport 400, mated to either a 6-speed manual or a 9-speed automatic transmission. While all-wheel drive is offered in the Infiniti, Nissan will only provide rear-wheel drive for the Z. The Turbo 6 provides the Z a lot of power, but our manual transmission test vehicle touched 60 mph in 4.5 seconds, behind the Supra by a long shot. Cornering grip is plenty as long as you do not push the Z too much when pushed hard, though the suspension's adjustment exposes itself to be inadequate. Its comfort is superb for commuting, but competitor sports vehicles have faster reflexes. In addition to its combination of historical Z style, cues the nose is pure, original 240Z. While the tail is more 300ZX, the car ditches the 370Z's 3.7-liter V6 in favor of a 400 HP 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6. The inside retains a slew of carryover gauges, switchgear, and other features, but in a redesigned layout with some new displays. The judges struggled with how the Z's clear advancements over its predecessor conflicted with the coupe's nebulous feeling of oldness. The new Z is a cyberpunk monarch, said Associate Editor Billy Rebach. A strange combination of future aesthetics and tech big screens that no Z has ever had before, and an old-school platform. The Z's base has been improved, but the additional bracing and modern interior components, combined with the new V6, boost the curb weight, dulling the effect of the 400 horsepower on tap. The 4.9-second 0 to 60 mph quickness of the Z outruns the 332 HP 370s, but it only equals the 350 HP 370Z Nismo variant. Many judges agreed with Detroit editor Elisa Priddle when she claimed she expected a strong engine note from a car like this and was disappointed. The most fuel-efficient Z, according to the EPA, is the one with an automatic transmission. It gets 19 mpg in the city and 28 mpg on the interstate. Choosing the manual reduces those figures to 18 mpg city and 24 mpg highway. The 9-speed automatic is somewhat faster to 60 mph than the manual. But despite being quieter, the 6-speed is the more gratifying transmission of the two. Surprise! Surprise! The 6-speed feels in rhythm with this strong engine thanks to a well-spaced shift pattern, medium throws, and a finely weighted clutch. And the rev match feature on this performance model eliminates heel towing. You can turn it off if you want to learn the technique yourself. Interior and exterior features. Although this generation appears to be very different from the previous one, it is not wholly different. Nissan, for example, has not modified the arrangement of the Z's interior. It is still a 2-seat coupe with no vestiges of rear seats like the Porsche 911. Everything else, however, has changed. The new Z's cabin has been refurbished with newer materials, which is a nice advance over the previous 370 Z's old interior. There is leather upholstery, power-adjustable seats, and dual-zone automatic temperature control. We do not know about cargo room, but we do not anticipate the Z to be a Costco champion. We put 3 carry-on luggage in the trunk of the original 370Z, which should be enough for most sports car purchasers. Nissan has updated the Z with an 8.0-inch infotainment display, as standard a 9.0-inch one with navigation is available. A 12.3-inch digital gauge display, Sirius XM satellite radio, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. A 6-speaker stereo is standard, but audiophiles may opt for a Bose-engineered premium audio configuration. An onboard Wi-Fi hotspot is also available. Although it is still early in the year, the Nissan Z is a definite front-runner in my very unofficial prettiest vehicle of 2022 category. Nissan's designers nailed the appearance of this automobile by fusing vintage elements with a sleek, contemporary form. The rectangular grille, as well as the semicircular headlamps and the Z roundel on the vehicle's back pillar, are unmistakable nods to the previous Datsun 240. The horizontal LED taillights are reminiscent of the 300ZX, and there's even some resemblance to its predecessor in the new Z's profile. Drape it in Ikazuchi yellow with a contrasting black roof, and you have a formula for an exceptionally stunning automobile. The inside is not horrible in and of itself. It's just a little plain in this spec. One of the few things that will attract your eye is the famous triple-gauge cluster above the dash. Aside from that, black leather, Fox Swede, and plastic cover every inch of this tester. You can, however, choose brighter red and blue interior colors instead. Disappointingly, obvious parts bin items like as the climate control knobs and central touchscreen carried over from previous Nissan cars. And there are clear traces of the 370Z in its DNA. The most glaring remnant from the 370 is the round door knobs. Even worse, despite having a USB-C connector, the Nissan Z will only support Apple CarPlay via the conventional USB port, which means you must choose between fast charging your phone and utilizing CarPlay. The Z also lacks basic satellite navigation, and we were dismayed to hear that the North American market's bigger 9.0-inch infotainment system, which does include wireless CarPlay and built-in navigation, is not available. the 12.3-inch instrument cluster, on the other hand, it's crystal clear and easy to read. Nissan claims it was developed by one of its racing drivers, and we found it straightforward to read for both speed and other performance statistics during our testing. That's all, folks, for today. For more updates like this, please subscribe to our channel, Latest Luxury Cars, and stay tuned.